looks great on flowers, looks great on other people, but I do not like it for me. Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nicole and this is Let Knit Be Sew. I'm here with another Friday Sews catch up, which of course is the hashtag started by Jen from Stay in Men's Sewing Room for all of the crafty sewists on YouTube to share a weekly update of what they've been getting up to. So on last week's episode, I had asked for some feedback to figure out how I was going to take things forward for the channel now that I'm working full time again. The sort of consensus from the poll was that people might prefer that Friday sews are maybe a bit shorter, and that things like finish makes and fabric and pattern purchases could go into like separate videos. So that is what I'm going to try and do. It's still a work in progress, and figuring how things will work for the best. But yeah, that's my plan. So these videos are hopefully just going to be a bit more what I've been getting up to, a quick catch up, and a little bit of life stuff. When I watch Friday Sews, I like to hear what people are up to that's not sewing, particularly if it's stuff that, I don't do, because, I just like to hear what, makes other people tick, and hear about stuff that, I don't have experience of. So yeah, that is how we're going to start things off. We'll see like how many videos that turns into like per week. Like ideally I'd like it to be 2, but again, time is precious and one thing and another, so we will see. In terms of what I'm wearing today, so I'm wearing another Billie sweatshirt dress by Tilly the Buttons. This is the first one I made in this lovely floral French terry that I got from Sarah at Simple Life Fabrics. I'm enjoying it. It's fortunately the weather has gone through a little bit of a backtrack in the UK. For like the past week or so, we'd had like glorious, especially for this time of year, weather, to the point where it was sort of like I'm in London, so that's the south of the UK, and it was like 16-17 degrees at one point, which for early March is wild. But yeah, we've gone a little bit backwards. I think we're just dropped to single figures again, so hence why still in the sweatshirt dress, but hopefully we are not too far away from more lighter affairs being required than is currently. But yeah, that is what I'm wearing today. So in terms of what I have been working for, I don't have anything finished to share with you, but I do have a work in progress, which is almost finished. So the project that I said I was going to start last time was a test of a pattern that I've never made before, which is the Jolene, it's a shirt and a dress pattern from Ready to Sew. And I wanted to trial it just because obviously it's a woven pattern, it's a fitted pattern, and the only pattern I've made from them before is a jersey pattern. So I just I wanted to trial it with the shirt version. Like I really want a dress in it, but I figured the shirt pattern would be uses a lot less fabric, so that would be the best thing to like test it out. And I picked out some fabric which is very much, I put up a post on the channel the other day saying like, does anyone else ever just buy fabric that there really isn't like them in terms of like colors and whatnot, but it's just like speaking to them for some reason. So I bought some fabric I bought it from Guthrie and Garney. I think it is an Arita Hansen print, some like cotton, it's like cotton poplin, floral, but it's got lots of red and not red, but it's got lots of yellow and orange in it. And no offense to anyone who likes yellow, but yellow is probably my least favorite color, primarily because, well, number one, I don't think it particularly looks great on me. I feel like jewel tones and that sort of thing are much more colors that suit me. And the other reason is that, and I feel like probably quite a lot of people have this kind of triggering some aversions to different colours, is that when I was a kid at school, we had these horrible, like dingy yellow school jumpers that, yeah, were just very naff, didn't look nice. Had the big school logo slapped on them, and yeah, they were this like what I would call like dirty yellow. There was also, I think we had a tie that I think we maybe wore twice, maybe for some like, well, we went to like a singing thing or something, and we like had to be extra smart. There was a tie which was like black striped yellow. Again, there's like dingy, like dirty yellow. And yeah, I think that started my aversion to it, and I'm like, looks great on flowers, looks great on other people, but I do not like it for me. So yeah, why I was, so drawn to this fabric, I don't really know, because it definitely isn't me typically. So I'll show you where I'm at. So this is the project. So the main feature of this, some straight thread there. The main feature of this pattern is, and can I show you easily? You've got these like princess seams. So this is a princess seam, and it's all gathered in. I'll try and put some pictures in, just because I feel like holding it up is a really hard way to show you. It's the same thing on the back as well. So you have, these princess seams on the back as well that are gathered all the way along, like the whole way down. And then you have the option for either a set-in sleeve or like a grown-on sleeve. I've done the grown-on sleeve version, you can see. So it's just a very short sleeve grown-on. I think if I made it again, I would do the set-in sleeve and maybe shorten it, because yeah, I feel like it's a bit weird, a little bit tight, and not even tight. Tight's not even the word. It's just a bit, it bunches up, particularly as it's, this is cotton fabric. So yeah, I think probably I would do the set-in sleeve when I make the dress version. And God, this is really hard to show. So yeah, you've got this princess seam with the gathering, and then you've got a waistline, and then you've got this peplum add-on, again with more gathering. So yeah, it's a shirt with, God, this is really hard to show. I will put in some pictures that show it better, but yeah, you've got this peplum bottom. And there's two colour options. So there's a rounded colour option and a pointed colour option. And the pattern also has an expansion pack, which has, I think, a like granddad style collar in it, as well as another option. But yeah, I've gone for the rounded collar, and I'm almost finished. Like, all I have to do is sew down the inside collar stand, which I want to do by hand, because it's going to require a little bit of faff to get it to cover bits at the tips. And the only other thing that I have to do is to put my buttons and buttonholes on. So it is very nearly done. Yeah, it's really not very easy to show you when it's all flopping about. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I have tried it on, and yeah, it's definitely like a close fitting pattern. And yeah, I don't think I would change the size that I have chosen to cut out. I think, yeah, the only thing that I would do is that, yeah, I'm not so keen on this, grown on sleeve bit. I think probably I would prefer to have, a set-in sleeve. And in the pattern, the like original pattern, the set-in sleeve was a bit of a weird length. It's kind of like sort of maybe to about here, with like a sleeve tab, and I wasn't really feeling that. So yeah, I think if I wanted to make a short sleeve version, I would use the set-in sleeve piece and then shorten it. But yeah, I'm really liking this, and like I say, this fabric, as you can see, I mean, it's got obviously pink and blue, but it also has quite a lot of yellow in, and that's not normally me. And as I was doing this, I had the sort of sudden realization while I was sewing that I unexpectedly can enter this into the So Yellow for Endo challenge, which is a challenge I never expected to be entering because of my aforementioned aversion to the colour yellow. So that's also a happy occurrence. So yeah, but yeah, almost finished this. One thing I would say about the pattern is that the instructions are not the best. Like I say, the only other pattern from them ready to sew that I have made is my beloved jean t-shirt, which is one I make all the time. And obviously it's a very basic t-shirt pattern, so like sparse instructions is kind of to be expected because there's very little to a plain t-shirt. But this is, again, there's not too many pattern pieces. It is pretty like basic. The only real difficult part is the collar. But yeah, the instructions were a bit sparse. I feel like if you had never sewn a collar before, you would be needing some help. Yeah, there was a bit, it was just a bit lacking. There's not really, there's also like no notches on this pattern. There's like a few circles on the collar and collar stand pieces, but there isn't any notches, which is a bit wild. And whilst, some patterns I feel like can sometimes make more notches than you feel is strictly necessary, having none, I did go back and like double check the PDF like of the pattern to make sure there hadn't been some like issue with the printing, but no, there's no notches, and yeah, they're just circles. And again, that the pattern doesn't really refer to those circles, particularly when you're like making the collar. It kind of tells you the order to put things in your like collar sandwich between like the two stands and the two collar pieces, but that's kind of all it refers to. So yeah, if you've done like collars like this before, like you'd probably be fine. I haven't done like this for a while, so I did sort of have to go and refer to another pattern that I had done before, just to make sure that I wasn't doing anything crazy. But yeah, I think for a beginner, someone not having done that before, you would struggle with what is provided. I also feel like so again, like I say, you've got these two pattern pieces where you have this princess seam that you gather the side piece in that has the sleeve. There's no notches on that at all, like and that's from like here to sort of your waist. That's quite a long seam, and you gather the entirety of the piece that's joining into it, but there's no notches. And I feel like particularly if you want to make sure that your kind of gathering is equally spread along the whole of that seam, I feel like it could have done with like at least one notch somewhere in the middle, just to give you another reference point. So yeah, I think it's fine. I think looking at it, you don't end up with too much. It's not like super dramatic gathering. It's just like a little bit. So I think it's okay. But yeah, was surprised that there wasn't a notch somewhere along that line to give you just another point of reference to make sure that you can, distribute the gathering you are doing evenly across that whole seam line. I think that's all I have to say about this. Like I say, just got to sew down the collar stand facing, and yeah, buttons and buttonholes. And I've got some of like the sort of little like mother of pearl shell buttons that I think I'm going to add. They're like on the pattern, they're kind of in like pairs, so you've got like two and then a bigger gap, two and then a bigger gap, which is also quite fun. So yeah, that is my Jolene shirt, and I definitely will make it again, and yeah, make the dress version that I want to. Now I've tested it out to check the sizing and whatnot. So yeah, more Jolene to come. Okay, so in terms of what else I'm planning to work on once I've finished the shirt, so there's obviously another challenge happening in the moment, which is So Frugal, which is all about using a free pattern and fabric that you already have in your stash to sew up a project. And I talked about recently wanting to make the Maison Fauve Grenadine skirt in potentially my like Ace denim, the leopard print one that I got from Fabric Godmother, and wanting to test that out. So I have, I've printed that pattern out. I've cut out the size that I think works best based on the finished measurements. Obviously, again, I have the caveat of having quite a big difference between my waist measurement and my hip measurement. So I've gone for what I think will work, and if I have to make any adjustments, then I can do that. So I'm hoping for a wearable toile. The fabric that I pulled out of my stash is something that I had left over. I can't remember what I made with the rest of it, but it's this like stretch cotton twill. It's quite structured, so I think it will work well for a mini skirt. And it's like the navy blue, and it's got these flowers. I have absolutely no idea where it came from. It's been in the stash a long time, but I've got about 1 meter of it, so that will be plenty to do a wearable toile that will then count for the So Frugal challenge of the Grenadine skirt. So that is going to be next on the cutting table. I say cutting table, what I actually mean is my living room floor, but if I say cutting table, it sounds fancy and like I'm a proper person. But it will be my living room floor. So that is my what I've been working on and what's planned next. In terms of other crafty stuff, obviously last week I mentioned that I'm planning to go to the Stitch Festival, which is on next week. So I'm going to go on the Thursday afternoon, because there's an afternoon only option for tickets, which is obviously a little bit more affordable. If you need a slightly more affordable option, you can go in from about 2:30, I think it is, and I think they're open until about 6 or 6:30. So there's still a good like 4 hours there. So that is what I'm going to do. And I said last week that I needed to think about what my list was, and I haven't fully written it down, which I definitely will do before I go. But some of the main things that are on my radar are number one, I'd really like some gingham fabric, preferably like the relatively like small squares rather than the larger. There was some, Hey So Sister had some that I really liked, but I hovered too long and didn't buy it, and then they were out of stock of like most of the colours that I liked. So some gingham for potentially like a nice spring summer shirt or dress is on my radar. Also, I think just general like haberdashery stuff. I feel like often when I am shopping online, I'm tending to be focusing on fabric and then maybe adding in like thread, if I'm picking a fabric that's in a color that I know I don't have already thread that will work with it. But like things like I've got a few projects that require specific zips and some buttons, so those are on my radar to look out for. There's a couple of different companies that are buttons and more haberdashery rather than fabric that are going to be there. Also looking for a lining fabric for the project that's from the February Fabric Godmother Dream Wardrobe box, which close your ears if you have that subscription and haven't opened your box yet, but it is a trench coat. So I'm looking for I think 2.5 meters of some fabric to align a trench coat with, and also some buttons for that, because I think there's a few larger buttons on that project as well. So I'm going to take a little bit of the selvage of the fabric that I had, so I can make sure that whatever I choose as a lining goes well with that. Speaking of Fabric Godmother, they also recently released the Ace animal print denim in a different colour, which is like a grey, and that is far more my wheelhouse than the stereotypical leopard print. So I'm hoping that they will have some of that and I can pick some up, because I would really like a skirt in the grey animal print denim as well as the normal colour that I already have of that. And is there anything else? Oh, and labels is the other thing. So I did buy some recently from Cozy Club Handmade, but yeah, I don't have that many options, and I would like some more option for labels to add to my handmade makes. So yeah, I think Little Rosy Cheeks is going to be there. So yeah, that's also on my radar to pick up some labels. And I think the last thing that's sort of in my mind that I'm really keen to see is that Maison Fauve have a stand, and really hoping that they have lots of samples of their patterns made up to have a look at, because yeah, I feel like everything on their website, I see the aesthetic and it's kind of, yeah, what I wish my wardrobe looked like in terms of feeling like a sophisticated professional woman. She says, wearing a bright floral coloured jumper dress. Yeah, I talked in my Make 9 about, yeah, wanting to sort of have more in my wardrobe that, yeah, is a bit more professional and put together for work purposes and other things. So yeah, I feel like from what I've seen on the website there, and you know, things that other people have shared, obviously Cara from So Mad has talked many a time about their patterns and showed what she's made, and yeah, everything looks fabulous. So yeah, I'm keen to see it in person as well, to yeah, really get a sense of which ones of their patterns I might like to start with first, that are kind of you know, the paid for patterns. Obviously I've just mentioned making the free one, but yeah, obviously that's a relatively you know, elevated basic, I guess I would call it, in a sense, compared to some of the other you know, like blouse and trouser patterns and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm really keen to see their stand as well. Yeah, I mean, there's probably more stuff that I'll think of, and something, you know, there's always something at a show that you weren't expecting to see, but suddenly that's all you can think about. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that next week. Okay, I think that's it for crafty stuff. In terms of life things, so this weekend is the start of the Formula One season for 2025, which is very exciting because it feels like it's been a long time since the last race of the previous season in December. And this past weekend they put Drive to Survive, which is a series on Netflix, which is kind of a behind the scenes documentary, I guess. It's a little bit they do, you know, use some artistic licensing with how they present stuff. It's maybe not the most accurate portrayal of everything that has gone on the previous season, but you know, I know it is something that has helped a lot of people get into Formula One who hadn't previously been aware of it. So, you know, it serves its purpose. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. The only caveat being that the first race is in Australia. So being in the UK, that means that everything is on very, very early in the morning if you wish to catch it live. So the race itself starts at 4 a.m. and I've still not decided what I'm going to do, whether I will watch it live or whether I think Sky repeat it at about 7:30, which is a slightly more respectable hour for a Sunday morning. So yeah, but then obviously you have to make sure that you don't look at the internet before that point, because otherwise you might see spoilers. Also, it is apparently the weather is a bit mad. So like on the Saturday when they do qualifying, it is scheduled to be like super hot, like 37 degrees. And then the following day on the Sunday when it's race day is going to be about 10, 12 degrees cooler and raining. So there is also the chance that there might be some delays in the race if they have any incidents or if it's raining too much, one thing or another. So yes, if I get up at 4 a.m, you know, I will watch it in bed on my iPad and then have another cat nap before I actually get up. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, like I say, Formula One, I've been a fan for a long time, watching it as a kid. So yeah, super excited to have that back. There's also football, so and it's a home game, so I'll be after that on Sunday as well. But that's not until 3 p.m, so I've got a while to get in my 8 hours in maybe 2 stints before I need to head after that. And it's gonna be nice because my dad is coming with me this time. My friend who I usually go with, he's off on holiday, so he kindly lent us his ticket so that my dad can come. So that'll be some nice father-daughter time. But yeah, that's, I think, all that's going on this coming weekend. The other exciting thing, which I feel like I should have mentioned last week, and then I think I just hadn't written it on my notes, so I forgot about it, is that I am also getting prepared to send a couple of my pieces of artwork to an exhibition. So I go to life drawing classes that are on at a local arts centre, and yeah, they have organised an exhibition of artwork that has been created at those sessions. And yes, we had to all submit some pieces for consideration, and mine were accepted. So yeah, I've got to go and get some plain black frames for my 2 pieces, and yeah, then in a couple of weeks' time deliver them to the exhibition. So yeah, that's going to be at the start of April for a couple of weeks. So yeah, it's quite exciting because I think, yeah, it's the first time my artwork has been on display since, I think, GCSE art times, when you had to put all your stuff on the wall in the art department so that the exam people could come round and mark your stuff. So I think, yeah, that was the last time my artwork has been on display to the public. So yeah, so it's only a local thing, but you know, it feels like something fun. So yeah, I am going to end things there. Thank you so much for watching. Please do consider liking and subscribing if you want to follow the channel more. And yeah, have a great week of sewing and general creativity, and I will speak to you all again very soon. Bye.